So after all the drama and all the build-up surrounding the biggest Tyne and weird derby of the millennium between Newcastle and Sunderland, it finally ends up in a draw, one apiece, with Aleksander Mitrovic cancelling out Jermain Defoe's effort in the first half to rescue a point for the Magpies. Starting with the lineups, if you watched yesterday's video, I personally went with a 4-4-2 formation, but we ended up lining up with a 4-2-3-1. We had Shelby and Wijnaldum sitting in front of the back four, and then we had the likes of Sissoko, Perez, and Townsend supporting Mitrovic up front. Sunderland, on the other hand, went on with a more familiar formation that they're accustomed to, and again they had Barini starting ahead of Ndoye, and you could see why when he was dominating him from start to finish. Moving on to the first half, I think we got off to a really slow start. A lot different from the Leicester game where we was really pressing them, getting in front of people's faces and giving no time on the ball. We let them have acres of space all the time, and then again we had a couple of warning shots early on from I think Kazri and Barini's ball into Defoe, and again you knew they was going to score quite early on. Moving on to the goal, I at least pointed out 4 chances of clearing that ball. First off being not allowing a short corner to happen at all whatsoever. Previous to that short corner, they had at least 3 corners, which all went straight into the box. And of course, they're going to go for a plan B option if the plan A option is not working. So again, the short corner comes in, brings someone in from the box just to cut it out. That's option 1. Option 2, when you get the short corner in, they've taken a shot with Barini, I think, powered it in, and we've got 4 defenders jumping up for one ball when we've got Rob Elliott there who should be punching it out of the stratosphere, let alone the penalty area. Option number 3, with the 4 players going straight towards the ball, guess what? That leaves Jermain Defoe open. The most deadliest striker probably in the Premier League, definitely in the North East, scores an easy volley into the net. And again, option number 4 is have someone on the line. If you've got that many players in the area, at least have one of them on the line. So again, option number 1, cut the short corner out. Option number 2, don't have 4 defenders going up for one ball. Option number 3, don't leave Jermain Defoe unmarked. And option number 4, have someone on the line, at least if you've got that many players in the area. But hey, we go and concede the goal, go in 1-0 down at half time. And again, hopefully Rafa's got into them and said, look guys, this needs to pick up. Because again, we can't be going through that every single game. It's terrible. Coming out for the second half, we made some substitutions, some due to injury, some due to tactical. God knows which one's which. I'm guessing Janmaat went off at Anita because it was due to an injury, because I don't think that would usually happen. The surprising one for me was Cisse coming off with Townsend, when Townsend was definitely our best player by far. Everything was going through him. God knows why we took him off. If it was up to me personally, I would have kept him on, taken off Perez because Perez had a shocker. That guy just blows hot and cold all the time. And I probably would have swapped over Sissoko and Townsend at some stage, because again, we just kept going with the plan A option of get it to Townsend. And after a while, they were just wising up to it, putting 2 or 3 defenders on him all the time. So again, maybe that's the reason why we're taking him off. But all in all, we ended up taking Townsend. And to be honest, it probably looked to benefit us. But again, I still reckon we could have scored even with Townsend on the pitch. Third and final substitution was De Jong coming on for Colback. I think that was more of a tactical one as well, because I think Colback was probably on the verge of getting sent off with some of his tackling on Barini. And De Jong, for me, again, just looks off the pace. But again, with the options on the bench, who else do you bring on? Do you bring on Riviere? Do you Hell? So again, probably De Jong was the right option to bring on. And then in the second half, we actually looked to be a bit more vibrant, a little bit more energetic, creating chances, moving for people. Some of the times in the first half, we were just looking and just chasing shadows, basically. But at least in the second half, we showed willing, and it all paid off in the end. The ball came in from the right-hand side from Wijnaldum, and Mitrovic rose, headed it into the net, and that guy went crazy when he scored. I love that guy, seriously. But 1-1, probably the fair result. In terms of man of the match, I definitely would have to go with either Elliott or Mitrovic. I think Sky had it as Wijnaldum as man of the match, probably due to the miles he covered, or obviously the assist as well. But again, personally, I would have gone with Elliott and Mitrovic. I think them two had blinding games, and as well as Townsend before he went off as well. For Sunderland, I think I was definitely impressed with Kershaw. I think he's one of their better players. Just kept it simple, won most of his tackles, won most of his battles, and just distributed it, nice and short and simple, which is sometimes what is needed. We don't need that nice long looping ball from Shelby all the time. Just keep it nice and simple on the ball on the ground. Sorry, and that's what Kirchhoff did in the end. Moving on now. Now we've got the first point under Rafa. We've got 2 more games coming up. First one off against Norwich, which again we definitely need to win, especially after they won this weekend. And the next one after that is against Southampton. That's going to be a toughie. Personally, I think we could at least get 4 points out of those 2 games. If we could get 6 points game on. Sunderland, on the other hand, have West Bromwich Albion coming up, which they're probably going to look to win that game, and then a big game, shall I say, against Leicester City, who are literally steamrolling over everyone. So again, they're probably looking to get at least 3 points out of those 2 fixtures as well. All in all, as I said before, 1-1 was probably a fair result. They definitely dominated the first half. We clearly dominated the second half in terms of possession and shots on target and off target. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can stay up this season and then kick on from there. So, Rafa, welcome. Thank you very much. Bring on the Rafalution.